I've dedicated my life to making art.
To me, it's kind of like going between insanity and sanity creating my work. I love it here. It's definitely where my soul lives.
I'm Angela Eve, and welcome to my world. I'm a photographer, a painter, a performance artist, multimedia artist, a costume designer, a jewelry designer. You name it, I can do it, and that's why I should be on the show.
I live between Chicago and New Orleans. Make my living as a performer, as a burlesque performer. I'm a pretty known performer here in Chicago, and I'm also an exotic dancer. Here in Chicago, I live with things that are really important to me, which are my dogs and my partner Tasso, who's super supportive of everything I do. And we collaborated to make this book, Home This Was. And this was a huge portion of my artistic life in the last 5 years. So I kind of get around in a lot of different areas of life. I'm sort of a Renaissance woman. I've been pretty much a gypsy most of my life, starting out at 18 years, being out on the road, went to the Art Institute of Chicago. During that time, made jewelry and started developing the idea that I don't want to get a job, I'm going to make my work and find a way to support it, and that's kind of where it's at right now. I hope that I've kind of given you a little bit of a better aspect of who I am, and now I'm flying off to New Orleans tomorrow, and I will check back with you then and see.
Hi, I'm Angela Eve, and this is my studio in New Orleans. This piece is made out of post-Katrina artifacts, things that have been collected over the last 5 years. This particular piece is called the Traveling Elysium Carnal Menagerie, made right here in New Orleans, inspired by Katrina, post-Katrina vaudeville, old-timey, everything extreme and elusive and amazing that you can find right here in New Orleans. For the last 7 years, I've designed costumes, created costumes with another artist, and embellished old costumes, brought life back into vintage costumes. I love embellishing and doing more crafty art as well as fine art. When I originally did the Home This Was project with my partner, Tasso, we came down here 5 days after Katrina hit, doing animal rescue and relief effort and photographing it. This spot right here along the river was in total debris. The buildings were being blown up. It was this insane spot of destruction. So all that kind of stuff helps me create my visual work now. I kind of go between being a performance artist and being a visual artist. And when I create my work with the set designs and all my elaborate productions, everything from New Orleans, I feel, actually goes into my work. And when I come here, simple things like playing my harmonica is, even though I totally suck at it, but it helps me to feel more connected to the earth. It makes me feel connected to what the city's about. I love it here. It's definitely where my soul lives. I started here in New Orleans looking for stuff at the Bargain Center, one of my favorite places to find inspiration for the work I do and the objects and things that had gone through Katrina. This place has a lot of post-Katrina stuff. And here the piece started from this image of this puritanical woman from around the turn of the century. And this piece is also, for me, very much about my grandmother and myself, and just myself as a woman in the aging process. And I went in Chicago, photographed myself in some costumes I had that were similar to this, and juxtaposed them with nude pictures of myself in the same positioning as she's sitting, and then made myself into this aging woman, and also scanned an image from an antique Ouija board, and then I sewed on there. I've been collecting my hair pretty much most of my life, so I thought this was a great opportunity to sew my hair onto the piece. Instinctually, I just felt like it spoke to this piece, and it spoke to kind of what I was doing, making this momentum of myself and about my grandmother and myself and the women in my family aging. Pretty much my entire life, I've been creating characters, and this piece speaks to one of those characters that I've been doing. I just wanted to show you a brief moment of my thesis project from the Art Institute of Chicago. And it was about Angie dolls, myself recreating personalities. I did 50 different dolls of myself for my piece and made an art box of it, a doll house. And here's Angie as my mother in the 70s. And here is Angie, peaceful, hippie, on the road, touring Angie. And here is punk rock Angie, being a badass. And here is Angie, the innocent, puritanical woman getting her first communion. So basically, I try to put that all in my piece, and a little darkness as well. I'm kind of a dark person as well, but completely light as well. And that's it. That's a wrap. And scene.